Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I know you guys ask yourself this question probably on the daily when you're scrolling. Do I really have to do this Instagram Reels crap? Do I need to be on TikTok? Because you're seeing other people in your network marketing company or other people in your industry doing it. And it's now I've got to like dance online and shake my booty and look like a fool. Do I really have to be spending the time learning something new? Don't worry, I've got you. This episode is exactly for you, where myself and the special guest expert I brought on today are going to just tell you like it is. If you need to do it, why you should do it, how you can do it strategically so you actually make freaking money doing it, and do it in a shorter period of time. First, before I introduce our guest, I want to share some stats with you because you know I'm all about the facts, right? So when it comes to video, in particularly right now, short form video is being preferred above anything else. It's because that's what the consumers are wanting. Therefore, all of these social media platforms are favoring short form video content because that's what people want to consume. What I mean by that is content that is 30 seconds or less. So here's some straight up stats for you. 66% more qualified leads per year by people using video content. There's a 54% increase in brand awareness by using video content. 8 out of 10 people say they have made a purchase and added to cart after watching a short form video. I'm just saying, if you're not convinced by those stats that you need to at least explore this and experiment with short form video with your brand, then you've kind of lost your mind. So I want you to hear from an expert herself. I've brought on Keenya Kelly. She is a top business consultant, an author, and a TikTok and Instagram Reels expert. So she's going to tell you like it is. I'm going to give my input as well because you know I'm all about that short form video content. And then you can determine if this is something that you're going to go for or not. So what is up, girl?
Hey, Tiffany. So glad to be here. Hey.
I've been wanting to have you on ever since. So I have clients who I've been, of course, like badgering about being on video. And they found your course, your first short form video course, your TikTok course. And I saw them getting on TikTok and actually like doing them. And people who I never thought would do it. And I was like, well, who is this girl? They're like, you need to get her course. And I was like all over it. And I loved how simple and straightforward you teach it. And you're also a woman who doesn't like wasting time. So it's like, you're not going to sit there and make sure they're like perfectly perfect. And there's 5,000 different edits. We don't need that. So first, let's talk about this. Do people who have an online presence or who want to make cash online, do they need to be embracing Instagram Reels or TikTok?
Absolutely. And the number one reason is because what we all need in our businesses is visibility. I say this all the time. We are trying to sell products and services to people. So how do we sell it to people? We have to get in contact with people. We have to put ourselves in a place where people can see us. And things like TikTok and Reels, they're being pushed out like crazy by the people that own the platforms. And so if we're trying to reach more people and spend less money, doing TikTok and Instagram Reels is the way to go right now.
So a lot of people only have the capacity mentally, energetically, time-wise to perhaps maybe experiment with one or the other. But the thought of like taking on both TikTok and Instagram Reels sounds like a little too heavy. So are there some ways we can determine if one or the other is better to start experimenting with?
Totally. So 2 things. If a person says that I'm not very tech savvy, but I'm willing to at least try this, then I would tell them, okay, start with Instagram Reels because Reels has a lot less buttons, a lot less features. However, I feel like everybody should start on TikTok. Now, TikTok has a lot of bells and whistles, but a couple things about TikTok. One, you go viral a lot faster on TikTok every single day. Like every single week, I have at least one video that will hit 10,000 views. Every single week. Like I think in an hour, I just gained 200 new followers the past hour on TikTok, right? And so if someone invests the time and energy into TikTok, then they're able to drive all those people that follow them on TikTok to Instagram. And the moment they decide, hey, I'm going to start doing Instagram Reels, well, because they know TikTok, Instagram Reels is easy because there's a whole lot less features and it's the exact same thing as TikTok, except TikTok has more bells and whistles. So a person can go viral, gain more people, and then when they're ready to add them both, they know exactly what to do on Reels because they learned it on TikTok.
Now, the strategy that I have seen work on TikTok, I always like to check with an expert like yourself because I can like add all sorts of assumptions in there, is that in order to really grow and end up seeing a payoff on TikTok, you've got to drop one or more TikToks a day in order for that to happen. Is that true?
Well, I think that I like the idea of dropping content every day on TikTok Reels anywhere because I'm a content creator. However, a person can post a video yesterday or 2 days ago that continues to go viral and they engage with the audience and they can still gain a massive following. So you don't necessarily have to do it every day, but if you're trying to gain a following super fast the way that I did, then I would definitely be posting a piece of content every day on TikTok. But I think that's with anything you're trying to gain a massive following fast is to be present every day.
So I teach something like, we don't do toe dipping here. Like we want to go all in. Yeah. So if you want to go all in on TikTok and see it grow, which, it grows, and obviously we'll talk about monetizing it, your recommendation is, just so people know, like they can make that decision if they're going to do it or not. Your recommendation is at least one TikTok video a day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Like 7 days a week.
Totally. Because I'm telling you, it's just, there's something about that algorithm on TikTok. I can't even put my finger on it, but there's something about it. And I've watched my Instagram grow faster because people on TikTok come and find me on Instagram.
So when it comes to Instagram Reels, because like I've definitely embraced the Reels life, like straight up, I have not embraced the TikTok life. And you guys know that, I have people who work for me. Like I'm at that point, obviously in my business, and I have my social media manager has definitely been in my ear about it, but it seems heavy to me because it's like now on top of this, I have to do something else. So how in the hell do you carve out the time to create all of these videos? Because I think how many Instagram Reels are you doing a week?
So I'm typically doing at least one reel a day. So that's 7. And then with TikTok, I'm doing about 3 to 4 TikToks a day. Sometimes it's 8, depending on what I'm launching and the content I've seen, because the videos are like maybe 6-7 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, And so I'm not necessarily taking all this time with edits. Like if I record one video, like I did one earlier about this fireman, hilarious.
Oh, I saw. You guys have to go see it. She has it on her Instagram. It's at Keenya Kelly. So KEENYA KELLY. It's funny as shit. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I saw that on TikTok and was like, oh, I want to do that one. And it took me maybe 2 minutes to create it and edit it because there's not very many edits. And then I posted it, right? And at this moment while we're recording, there's about 2,000 views on the video. And I took the same video and I put it on Instagram Reels, and that video has about 1,000 views on it. And so you talk about 2 minutes, but what if I spent 20 minutes a day creating Reels and creating TikToks, right? That content is going to continue to be pushed out on those platforms. And you can't write a blog in 10 minutes. You can't record a podcast and edit it in 10 minutes. But these little pieces of content on these platforms, they continue to get pushed out. I'm watching a video of mine continue to go viral on Reels talking about the little boy, Kyle Rittenhouse, that I think he killed the 2 people on accident or whatever in whatever city that was. I recorded a video weeks ago, but that video is continuously being pushed out and it's driving people to all of my other reels. And so it's worth the time and energy each day because it's going to drive more people to us.
And I can attest, I can't speak to TikTok, but I can attest for sure personally to Instagram Reels that I call it like the gift that keeps giving. Mm-hmm. So some of my ones, I've had several that have gone viral, and because they've gone viral, I continue to get engagement on it, and it continues to pay off long after my initial time and energy investment.
Exactly.
So now, maybe it's because I need like more help from you, but I've gotten it down to, for me to create a reel, I'm talking start to finish, like me going, this is my idea, like what I want to talk about or what I want to do. And then from recording it, editing it, writing the post that goes with it, mm-hmm. and then doing a cover image, right? It's 45 minutes. Like if I were to say like door to door, it's 45 minutes. And I'm like, I'd like to think I'm a pretty fast writer. So what is your trick to being able to pump out so many of these in a short period of time? So there's no way it's taking you 45 minutes for each one.
No, it's definitely not. I think one, the way that we look at things, we're kind of looking at as like content creation on like Facebook, and like when we create these amazingly well-written posts on Instagram, I think that we have to spend less time in being so calculated with it and just produce the piece of content. A lot of times, now granted, I'm sure I could do better at this, but a lot of times I don't write long captions in my reels. I will have like a short little caption about something, the video, like the actual text overlay, and then I'll have a little short caption in the comment or whatever, or the caption section, and then I'll post my hashtag. So many times I do not put a lot of emphasis into what the words are going to be, but more of my wording is when I post the picture to my timeline or something like that. But even if I did take more time with it, I would be more concerned about what is happening in the video, because people are more apt to watch that short clip than they are to actually read the caption. And that's what's going to cause them to engage. I've watched way more people engage because of what's in the video than what I wrote about the video. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I tend to overgive anyway. So that's like something I have to be really aware of. So look, it's showing up in reels because what I give in the video and reels is already enough.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I'm like piling it on by doing a full long form caption as well. Yeah. And it probably isn't getting me much more. Now inside TikTok, you don't do these long captions. That's not a thing in there, right?
It's not an option.
Oh, even better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think I've learned that because of TikTok, there's no, you can't do a long form post. So when I came to Reels, I was used to not doing it. So I didn't do it there either, but I'm still getting the same type of results, from it. But when so I think that you actually have two things going for you. You have the reel, and then you have a whole nother, post that you can do for that day that you're spending that 45 minutes on.
So I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, well, how in the hell, especially when you heard her say like, sometimes I do 3 or 4, sometimes even 8 TikToks a day. And I know like all of you broke out into like hives immediately. Like, how does she even have enough content ideas to come up with all that? So would you be so generous to take us through how you map out all of your content ideas for all of the stuff so you can like pump it out and you're not spending hours and hours trying to figure out what to talk about?
Absolutely. So that's one of the things that I love about TikTok. Places like Facebook and Instagram, if you copy, you're going to jail. Like people are like, no, they're going to condemn you all the way to hell on those platforms. On TikTok, it's all about copy. It's all about copy, repeat, and recreate, like the fireman. That wasn't my idea. Somebody else did it and I recreated it, And so you can literally every single day, you can go into the Discover tab on TikTok and just start watching videos. Or you can just scroll the feed. And I guarantee you, if you spend 15 minutes on TikTok every day, you're going to get so many great content ideas that they may be talking about X. And as an entrepreneur, we're thinking about Y. And you go, oh, I can spend that and do this. And I can spend that and do this and to do that. So like, you don't have to be creative. You get to go to that platform and get all the creativity you need. And when you post that piece of content to Instagram, everybody thinks you're a creative genius. And you're like, okay, because that's not actually what happened. But even on Reels, like that, I've watched a lot of people go from watching things that happen on TikTok and they all recreate it on Reels, and then it begins to repeat. So people start saying, oh, I saw Brock Johnson do this. Let me just tag him and give him creds. And so that's what people do on Instagram. They just give creds, but it's still amazing pieces of content because we are trying to reach new people, and the new people that know us don't know that I know this person. They don't know that I know this person. They just came in contact with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes a lot. And you're still giving your unique take and energy and vibe on it. Like how I would do the fireman one, like you were saying, you have to go see it to know what we're talking about. And you should go look at it on at Keenya Kelly so that you understand what we're referencing. But it's like, how would you guys spin something like that? Like, because I love that you said that, because how I would spin it is I already have some ideas. Like if I decided to do that, I would spin it that's on brand for Tiffany, right? Like what would crazy Tiffany do? Like I definitely have some ideas. Like I always go too far with things. That's kind of my thing. So it's like, what would I do that'd be going too far with that? So then we've got the mindset of, okay, like, all right, girls, like I've scrolled all this stuff on TikTok. I've scrolled it on Instagram Reels, and it's like everyone's doing the damn stupid pointing thing. And then everyone's dancing, and then I don't know how to dance. And it's like, my business is serious. I'm an accountant. I'm a medical professional. So how can I talk about things that are more professional without looking like a fool?
Yeah. And that goes back to TikTok, because if you go to TikTok and you click on the magnifying glass at the bottom, which is a Discover tab, there's a search bar. There's no search bar on Instagram, but there is one on TikTok. You can type in the word accountant, and you're going to see a ton of videos come up for people that have posted content about accountants. And you'll be able to watch boatloads of content about accountants and get amazing ideas. Like there is a plastic surgeon on TikTok, and he has done some of the most amazing videos, and he's not dancing, but there was a doctor doing when COVID-19 first hit. He was a very good dancer. I was very surprised by this guy. And every day he would come on and dance with this straight face, and he would give all the specific statistics about what was happening with COVID in New York. And it was like, you were watching him dance, but you were watching him say some of the most serious things that I fell in love with this doctor, and it just let me know this was a serious thing, and it made us pay attention. So you can dance or don't dance, but everybody, like, if you want I'm telling you, the creative ideas, it's all on TikTok.
So you guys can just go on that Discover tab, like she said, and type in whatever you're into. Maybe you are a fitness trainer. Maybe you are in network marketing. Maybe you're a wellness coach or whatever it is. And like type different things in there and see what comes up. Mm-hmm. Now, I've also noticed on TikTok that there aren't as many hashtags that you have to use. So is there like some different strategy on like those videos that you've had go viral on TikTok? Is there something that you're doing that's helping those go viral?
Yes. So first with TikTok, there's a limited amount of text that you can actually put in that box. I don't know how many it is, but it's a whole lot less than Instagram. And so first things first, in your caption, like the words you put in there, you want to make it something that causes someone to get hooked in, right? And so with the fireman one we keep talking about, in my caption, I put, come get me, and all like exclamation points, right? But the other strategy in that is, another strategy is putting the words come get me over top of the video. I said, my caption was, when you're single, right? And that, like, there's two different things. But the other thing is using the strategy of 4 hashtags or less on TikTok because the algorithm is amazing. But if you use too many hashtags that are like not all in the same category, that the algorithm becomes confused. Like, I don't know if I should give it to single women, to firemen, to divorced women, or who should I give this video to? Because the way that TikTok works with the hashtag is that if I post the hashtag single men, right, then it's going to push that video to anybody that has interacted with the video that used the hashtag single men, right? But it's also it's going to cause me to see more videos from people that use the hashtag single men, right? So I use 4 hashtags or less so I don't confuse the algorithm, and then try to find hashtags that have 1 million views or less on them, right? A lot of times people will use FYP for you page, but that has billions of views on them. When you use something like, oh my God, that fireman though, and it has like 900,000 views on it, then you're more likely to have more people to see that video because the hashtags are less. So hashtags on TikTok are very different than hashtags on Instagram.
Wow. Well, and that's also, so you guys know, because if you're leaning towards, going all in on TikTok first, whichever one you're wanting to do first, Keenya has a course for each one. So she has an IG Reels mini course and a TikTok course. And aren't they like something crazy, like $20 each?
Yeah, $20. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not normal. So you guys can go to KeenyaKelly.com and then just click on courses. And then just scroll through and you'll see them there. So you can go and like experiment and dabble on your own, but like for $20, you might as well at least get a head start, because I know that she'll, obviously, if she's being that clear on the show with you guys about what to do and not to do, you'll see it in there. One of my resistances that has been to TikTok is the time factor. It looks like doing a lot of these edits can start sucking up a lot of time. So it sounds like you focus on creating content that does not have a lot of edits. Is that true?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. The fact that you are creating reels, you can kill it on TikTok because there's way more features. There's way more things you can do. Like on reels, you can only be you. It's only you on the screen, right? Whereas on Reels, TikTok, I went viral first because I did what's called a duet. I did a side-by-side with a white girl that had gone to a Black church for the first time. She was imitating how Black people shout at church. And I did a duet beside her. And it was the funniest video. And I'm laughing because I'm agreeing with her. And we hit 10,000 followers in like 2 weeks because we were able to do a side-by-side. Right? And so there's all these different fun, cool things you can do there that you can't do on Reels. But the fact that you've been able to do all of what you've been able to do and go viral with the limited, Reels is great, but with the limited things that it can do, I can't even imagine what you could do when you start doing these videos. I did a duet recently. There was a white lady in the car with her daughter. And she was like, Mommy, what? She goes, why don't they fix the house? And she goes, the house? Yeah, fix the house. She goes, what about the house? The house that has a holes in it? She said, holes? What do you mean? She said, there's some holes in the house. There's some holes in the house. And we knew she was talking about WAP. Yeah. But I did a side by side with her. The video went viral on TikTok, but it's now at 50,000 views on Instagram. Right? And I didn't have to create the piece of, I didn't have to come up with it. I just did a duet. And we all can relate to that, to our kids being like, what did she just say? And it drew people to the account.
I see what you're saying. So there are creative ways that you can go, okay, how can I create content? You don't have to be the 19-year-old living in mom's basement that does like 500 edits and like has a customized dance routine in order to be successful. It's like, I'd rather you guys have the mindset of, how can I pump out the most content in the least amount of time without having to do all these edits? It sounds like that's kind of how you think about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I mean, don't get me wrong. People love when all these edits happen, but I have had 85,000 followers in 6 months. And that is not my gifting. Like doing all them edits is not my thing. I don't have any videos with high editing whatsoever.
So back to what in the hell do we talk about? Like, I know you gave the hack of like using the search feature on TikTok, but it still sounds really daunting
Mm-hmm.
to come up with things that are related to like your brand, your niche, that many topics when people who are listening already
Mm-hmm.
really like fry their brain on coming up with like one post a day.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. So one of the things to understand, and even with posting a day, like just because you made a post today, right, and then it's 60 days later, doesn't mean you can't repost the same piece of content with a different image in 60 days, because you've gained not a lot new followers since the last time you posted that. And so you can't concern yourself with, oh, people have already seen this. Your goal is, how do I reach new people, more people? So, for example, you can do an Instagram reel or TikTok on what do you need to podcast, right? I did a video on what tools do you need to podcast. I did a microphone, something else, right? And in a month, I can do the exact same thing, but I can do the video differently. I can like dance if I want to dance, you know? Yesterday, I did a video on Reels talking about the 3 things you don't want to do to your email list, right? 1 was ghosting, 2 was being super busy, and then 3 was just only showing up when you're trying to make a sale, right? And that's something that 3 of those things could have been a piece of content, like 1 each or whatever, but like it's like it was like a 7 or 8 second video. So in a month I can post that exact same thing to Reels, because by the time I repost that, I'll have a whole lot of new followers that didn't have never seen that piece, you know? And the truth is, we go live all the time. We've got all these podcast topics, all these blog topics. We have all this stuff we've talked about for years. We just need to reach out and grab that stuff and turn it into little 10-second clips. You know, it's not like you have to come up with the most creative things every single day. We're talking about stuff all the time. When we are responding to emails, people have given us content in their emails. When we are doing a live stream and somebody comments and asks us a question, 10 people asking questions, that's 10 new pieces of content. And you can turn all those things into fun, creative, educational tips, right? Like I did one that was like, Instagram Reels is easy. It's so easy, even a 39-year-old can do it. And I start doing the worm on the ground, I sit on the ground, and everybody's like, you're crazy. But I was just saying Reels is easy. I didn't teach anything, but it made people go, okay, maybe I can do Reels. Now everybody is tagging me every single time I do a Reel. Why? Because I've told them that it's so easy, even a 39-year-old can do it. You know what I mean? So it's just like allowing ourselves to go, okay, let me not box myself in. But if you look back through your Facebook feed, your Instagram feed, you got content for 5 years. And from the stuff you posted and from all the comments in the post. We just don't look at it that way.
That's a great point. And, you know, I love thinking of like content hacks. You can go and look at your favorite podcasters or whatever in this niche if you're not a podcaster yourself and you're not copying them. Just look at all the show titles, and every show title is a content idea. Like, how can I turn this into a reel, or how can I turn this into a TikTok? So you don't have to sit there and like come up with something that's going to like win some prize. I think that's where I can go into the weeds, is because I've gone viral, I think 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like chasing it, right? I'm chasing that viral high. So it's like, ooh, in order for me to go viral, like I've got to think of some epic shit. But then what that can do is it can prevent me from sharing more content because I'm trying to be so epic every time. It's like,
exactly.
Calm down, Tiffany.
Yeah. And it's like you might get epic content once a month, but what if that one piece of content brings you 1,000 followers, but you do one piece of basic content every single day and it brings you 10,000 followers?
Exactly. I really appreciate this conversation, and that I called myself out. Thank you so much. So how do you monetize, and how do you gauge that your time, energy, and effort into the short form video, both on TikTok and Reels, is really doing anything? Like, I mean, yeah, I'm all about, that's great to get more followers, but how do you gauge that you're actually making more cash?
Yeah, absolutely. So my number one goal is not the money. My goal is to getting people in front of me, right? I want people to go, "Oh wow, who's that?" I want to get them to follow. I then want them to opt into my email list. I want them to go and take my personal branding quiz, right? And every single day I see dozens of people that take my quiz, and that is telling me that these videos I'm putting out on Reels and I'm putting out on TikTok is causing people to get onto my email list, because once they get there, my email list is selling everything else. It's selling all the products and services, right? And then I am also doing live streams. So I'm live on Instagram a couple times a week. I'm live on TikTok every single day, right? And when I'm live, I'm talking about my email list stuff, but I'm also talking about low hanging fruit products, right? So like with TikTok recently, I had all these videos go viral talking about how to get people to $10,000 a month. And from there, I realized, okay, I could sell them something small. So I did like a small class on a Saturday for 2 hours for $25. We had like 30 people opted into that, right? As a result, a ton of them said, hey, I want to book a one-on-one call with you, which is $250. And then it just grows and grows and grows. And so on places like TikTok, that is fairly new, so to speak, I'm doing little things with them, giving them a taste of what it is I can do. And it's causing me to being able to generate a significant amount of money from them. It's the same way we do on Instagram and Facebook. If our audience is new to us and they've never bought from us, then we offer them a freebie, that free opt-in or whatever. Then we offer them a lower price product, and then we upsell them. And so that's what I do on Instagram Reels and on TikTok. I understand that these people are new to me. They may not give me $10,000 today, but they will buy a $20 product and they go, oh, I want more from her. And then they end up buying more and more and more things.
Yeah, so don't get greedy, right? Don't go from, a TikTok video and be like, my new group coaching program for $2,500.
Exactly.
I see you guys doing that shit, by the way, with Facebook, Instagram ads. Like that doesn't work either. You're wasting your money. So yeah, go to a freebie or like a low, an ultra low ticket item. So are you using calls to action in your short form videos as well?
Always. So a lot of my TikTok videos will drive them to do a couple things. One, it will drive them to my DM, because I can talk to them privately and they get a notification, right? So I'm always saying, DM me, DM me. Like I have this video that has like 500,000 views on it, probably 3,000 comments, right? And everybody keeps commenting, help me, help me. And I'm like, DM me every time I comment to them. And in all of my videos, like at the bottom of it, you'll see either follow me on Instagram or send me a DM. And that lets me communicate with them. Right now, granted, you get overloaded when you go viral, but you do have a point where you can talk to them. But in addition to that, if I have a freebie that's specifically about that particular video, then I would say, click the link in my bio. Same way we do on Instagram. I'll say that on TikTok. But my number one claim to fame is send me a DM.
Yeah, because then if someone is going to go to your DMs and ask you a question, there's someone who is actually like really genuinely interested in learning, not just like immediately wasting some time. So now you guys know where you can send people. So you can see the numbers, it sounds like, because you have your opt-in for like your quiz. So you can tell now versus, 6 months ago, you can see the increase in opt-ins and in emails on your list. So you obviously know it's working.
Exactly. Like every single day, I'm always like, I just watch the numbers. Like I'm always ding, 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 ding. And it's always either Instagram, from Instagram Reels to my list, or it's TikTok to my list. And I'm watching it, and I just communicate with people on a regular basis. I send more emails to my list than I ever have now, because I'm having a conversation, talking and teaching, and then at some point selling.
Which that is going to fuel you when you guys are like, oh my God, I have, 3 children, an annoying husband, my business, right? Like I have so much going on. Well, let me tell you, there's nothing that's going to get you more energized than when you start having people asking you questions, like, opting in for your stuff, giving you money. Like, yeah, let me tell you, your ass will start, dancing and doing crazy shit too when you see that work.
I dance all day long now.
Like, that's going to work. Plus it's such a great feeling also when that it's like really made someone laugh. Like that actually gives me a lot. I mean, listen, you know, I'm all about cash, but that gives me such great gratification because there's so much heavy shit
Yes.
that doesn't it feel good? Because I know you love making people laugh too.
Oh yeah, it feels amazing. Every time someone says, "You're so funny," or someone inboxes me and says, "I've been watching this video over and over again." I send it to all my friends. It's a great feeling to just be able to be yourself. You're still your same business self, but you're able to be all the aspects of you versus just this professional you all the time.
Yeah, and that's who people actually remember and want to buy from.
Yes.
I know there's a fear. I had it too. I mean, go look at my fucking YouTube videos that I spent tens of thousands of dollars on, where it was like newscaster Tiffany, because I thought that's who people would want to hire as this, you know, high, you know, showcasing I'm a high level, you know, business coach, da 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 da. No, what really works is like, and what's memorable is seeing like me, fully me, crazy me. That's what people want.
Yes, exactly. That's like with when I look at Shalene, like her creative little videos. You know, sometimes she's talking about business. Other times she did a video showing how to fold a fitted sheet, and I was prepared that she was going to really show me how to do a fitted sheet, and she crumbled the thing up, right? And you're like, oh, she's crazy, right? But then you click to the next video, and it's business, and it allows you to see, oh, this person is not stiff. This person is not a stick in the mud, but they're just like me, and it's relatable.
Yes, exactly. So I want to make sure we cover this part because I know I'm going to get a lot of messages asking. I always like try to channel my audience because it's like then they get pissed I didn't ask you. And obviously, you guys, if there's something I didn't ask, she just said about 80 times you can DM her. So DM her at Keenya Kelly. If you found this episode really helpful, entertaining, maybe you're going to get off your ass and do these things. Because I know I called myself out. Like now I'm really sold. So you're going to see me on TikTok. So you're welcome. I want you guys to take a screenshot of this episode, share it on Instagram stories, tag me at Project Me with Tiffany, tag Keenya at Keenya Kelly. If you're multitasking and you just end up tagging me, I'll make sure that I re-share it and get her tagged. This is how I can tell also that you guys really appreciated an episode and you want more of it. So show your love, do that. And again, she already is offered, right? Like you can DM her on Instagram. Like if there's something that we didn't cover today or a specific question, and I know she'll reply. She replies to me. So I can vouch for that. Do you batch your content? Because the idea of being in the mood, you know, there's some days like, for example, like today there is no vibe about me that would want to create a bunch of videos. Like I'm just not in that mood. Right. So do you batch your videos that you make sure your presence is always seen? You always have something in the can?
Yes. I always have things in drafts. Always, because every day I'm not gonna be able to be in front of a ring light or be in my office. But I will say that I usually have about maybe 2 or 3 videos that are saved in drafts. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to post that actual content the next day. Sometimes I am home watching TV or scrolling my phone and I go, oh, this is a good piece of content. Instead of posting the one I was going to post, I'll recreate it for the next day. But most times, especially on the weekends, I have stuff saved because I'm not in work mode, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it still sounds nuts to me when you said like, there's sometimes I do 8 a day. That sounds crazy. Like if I'm picturing you doing it all day long. That's not true. How long do you spend per day on this shit?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I usually get to my office around 7:30, right? To beat everybody in the office. And most of the time, before I ever got into the office, that night I have already screenshot other people's pages that I want to recreate their content. And so I will come into the office, cut all the lights on, and then I'll sit down and go, okay, let me recreate this one. And I'll just create like 3 or 5 of them in a matter of 20 minutes. And I won't post them all. I won't put out all the captions and all that, but I'll just create create them. And throughout the day, then I'll go, okay, I got 5 minutes. Let me put my tags up there. Let me like set the duration and then post, but I usually do it before I ever sit down to my desk. I will sit down at the couch in front of me to get that stuff created, and then lunchtime, do it again. And then most times right before I leave the office, I'll create a piece of content, right? Because it's like, it's just throughout the day. But the way that I look at TikTok is, if I get as many followers to me every single day, driving into my email list, this is my investment. This is like me paying for an ad, right? So I'm looking at like, I've got a small window of time with TikTok and with Reels while they're pushing it out. I have a really small window to be one of those people that are the early adapters, to where in next year or year after next, people say, how in the world does she get to 10 million followers? And it's because in my mind, I'm like, if I put emphasis on this, the same way we do email marketing, the same way we do with the other things we find important, then I'll be one of those people that folks will say, what in the world happened? And because I really put the time into it. It's like, we all know that there are people who gain millions of followers on Instagram because they were there early, or on Vine or on Snapchat. Well, this is that moment for Reels and Instagram. I won't always be able to produce this amount of content, but I'm like, in this short window, oh, this is my time. And that's why I put high emphasis on creating content for those platforms.
Do you feel it is too late for TikTok, or do you feel there's still time to be, so to speak, an early adopter?
It's a crazy good time for TikTok. One, because most of Americans were afraid to get on TikTok because of the China breach. But Oracle just bought TikTok last month, right? And so TikTok, like people in America are finally going, they still haven't even got on there for real as a country. And TikTok is working on whatever they're working on in the back end. At some point, they're going to launch out a massive campaign. Like we're going to start seeing TV commercials and all this stuff of TikTok pushing people to the platform. And so, no, we're still in that early infancy stages because we just got the approval of TikTok being officially in the US, and President Trump isn't going to ban it. And so like we haven't been there. We as Americans have not been there. And so this is a huge moment for us.
So you heard it from someone who's you got straight up stats and facts. You also have a solution when you're like, well, I'm not a tech person. I don't even know how to create one. You can go to KeenyaKelly.com under courses. And last time I checked, you have $20 or 40, even better. If it were me, I would buy the IG Reels course and I would buy the TikTok course because there are nuances for each. And you need to look at it like this, like, all right, just as much as you guys are like thirsty for followers on Instagram, you need to be even more thirsty for getting email opt-ins.
Totally.
And that's where I see the upside, where I've like really, now I'm going all in on TikTok, and I've said it here, so I can't go back.
Yeah.
But I'm going all in on it because I really love your approach because you think similarly to me. I need to know my investment of energy and time. I need to see that it's strategically going to pay off, and I can see how that'll pay off. Like let's just say, because I can go in the weeds more than you. Let's just say it's 90 minutes a day. Let's just say it is for me.
Right.
Okay? Because it could be.
Yeah, totally.
It's 90 minutes a day for me, 7 days a week. Yet I'm adding thousands of people to my email list, which then convert into cash. Would that be worth your time, you guys? Or do you want to, continue posting really lame quotes and janky looking pictures and like thinking someone's going to buy your shit? Like, It's up to you.
That's it. Exactly. It is worth the investment. I'm telling you, I've been on all the socials. I launched my business in 2016. I don't have 80,000 followers on any platforms. And in 6 months on TikTok, I have 85,000 followers. 6 months. Can you imagine in 6 years? Like that's crazy. And my email list is jumping. I mean, I'm always blown away by how many people opt into my list, how many people are buying all these different products and services. And I know they're coming from multiple places, but there's a lot of folks coming from TikTok. And it doesn't mean all of them are creating content on TikTok. People are there to be entertained, which means that our people that buy from us are there being entertained. We just don't know that they're there because we're not there if we're not there.
Right. Oh my God. This was so helpful. I appreciate you like really laying down the law with it. And now I'm really inspired. I had a feeling it was kind of going to happen, which is probably why I was waiting for a certain time to have you
Yeah.
on, because I had to have like my own come to Jesus about it.
Right. Exactly. Uh-huh.
But there's a solution here. You can learn it step by step. Make sure you take a screenshot right now, share this episode on Instagram, tag myself at Project Me with Tiffany, tag Keenya Kelly at Keenya Kelly, Keenya Kelly. DM her, DM me with any of your questions. Get in on this game, you guys. It's a game.
Yeah.
But the game is stacked in your favor right now. So I don't know. I'm just telling you guys she's already all in. I'm just telling you right now, if I'm going all in and you know I can be a pain in the ass and stubborn, just wait. You can wait and watch me. That's fine. Or you can join us. Thank you so much for being so open and not hiding any of your secrets to all of your viral success. This was really helpful.
Yeah, you're so welcome. If I can encourage everybody with one quick story, there is a guy on TikTok. His name is Old Man Steve. Old Man Steve is 81 years old. He has 1.3 million followers. He runs his own account, and all he does is make his bed, play with his cat, make sandwiches, really simple things. 1.3 million followers at 81 years old. So we have no excuse because Old Man Steve can do it.
Oh my God. And especially all of you introvert empaths who follow me, where you're like, but my life is boring and I'm not fun and I don't do anything. But when you actually exaggerate that and like put a spotlight that you're boring, that actually can be very entertaining to people.
Absolutely. Yes, very. You just never know. I mean, you'll be amazed at the people have millions of followers. You're like, but they're not even doing much. And people, they don't care. They love that about them. It's a very different animal, that TikTok world.
This is so cool. All right, I'm doing it. It's happening. All right, love you guys. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.